Hey, good people, welcome back to Money's Book List. So, we are here to do a review on a Halloween slash romance book, and it's called The Bake Shop at Pumpkin and Spice. And this book is 3 short stories by 3 different authors, and the short stories all happen in the same town, and they all happen surrounding, as you guess, the bake shop at the corner of Pumpkin and Spice. And the 3 authors in this book are Donna Kaufman. She wrote the short story called Sweet Magic. And then we have Allison Charles, who wrote the short story Love Spells Disasters. And the last short story in this book is called Sweet on You by Kate Angel. Now again, it's romance. This is not smut. This is very PG-13 / maybe 14. The last short story does name body parts in particular, but nothing below the belt, if you will. So it was very sweet, kind of docile for what I normally read when it comes to romance. So, but overall, it was an okay book. All of the short stories, all of them, at the end of all of the short stories, all of the characters wind up at this final place, and that is the city or the town's parade for Halloween. So, just to give you the overarching theme of the book, there's 3 different love stories that happen in these 3 different, there's 3 different love stories, of course, with the 3 short stories, surrounding in the same city, Halloween time, and the end of the story, of each story, all the characters wind up at the town's Halloween parade. And that's basically how each story ends, pretty much. There's very little interaction. The main interaction is the parade, basically. That's the only real interaction with the stories intertwining. The first story, you meet Bree and Caleb. Bree is a baker and Caleb is a chef for an Italian restaurant.
Chapter 7.
And you meet them. Bree is at the bake shop, which is the bake shop at the corner of Pumpkin and Spice, and she works there with her grandmother, and her grandmother makes these cookies that are very special, and so that's kind of how each story is surrounded around these cookies too. I don't want to give too much away because they really are short stories. Like, I think there's 9 chapters, or yeah, there's technically 10 chapters in the first short story. There's 9 chapters in the second short story, and there's 5 chapters in the last story. So I don't want to give too much detail away, but Bree and Caleb both like each other, but they're very much connected to Bree to her grandmother's bake shop, and to Caleb to his family's restaurant. His family are all in the restaurant business. Either they run restaurants or they're chefs, sous chefs, and that kind of thing. And he's not Italian, he's Greek. Sorry. So she's Italian, he's Greek. And so it's hard for him they're having a hard time trying to decide how they're going to make their relationship work, with the fact that they both are so intertwined with their families, and they feel compelled to be with their families. So that's the first one. And again, it's short story, it's romance, and it's lighthearted romance. It's supposed to make you feel good at the end. So of course, they find a way to be together in the end. But it's a cute story. The second story, Love Spell, I actually do not like the main character in this short story. Her name is... Okay, sorry about that. Her name is Cassandra. Cassandra and Chip are the second story, and I do not like Cassandra. I don't think she deserves to have a happy ending, because she's kind of a butthole in the beginning, but she does kind of redeem herself, but I don't really like her. Chip and Cassandra. Cassandra works at an insurance company, and Chip is a self-employed handyman / carpenter. Basically, he he comes into her insurance place where she works to get insurance because he's taking on a big project, and he wants to make sure that his project is insured just in case something happens to him during the project, his debt doesn't become a burden to his family members. And Cassandra is so focused on trying to win the heart of her boss that she can't see that Chip is a good guy, and she thinks that his profession makes him a flake. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give too much more, but I did not enjoy her for maybe 75% of the story. Like, I found her to be obnoxious, like extremely obnoxious. And I I have never met people who can't see, well, my friends, I don't know. I find it hard. Like, it's one of the tropes I don't like is where the girl is so, or the main character, it doesn't even have to be the girl. The main character is so blind to the good people around them, or the people that they should be interested in, that they're so focused on this like other person, like as a, like, I don't even think necessarily they see them as a person. They see them as like an accomplishment, if you will. And it bothers me when that happens in stories, and even in rom-coms. I hate it. I hate when the main female character is so focused on, or the main male character is so focused on another person, when there's this trusty person who's like, like, I'm good to you, I want to be with you, but they can't see them. That bothers me so much. It bothers me so much. I hate that trope. But anyway, again, it's a cute love story, and you will find out how they get together in the end. So the third and final story is about Jack and Laura, and Jack is the mayor of this small town where all this fun stuff is happening around this parade. And Laura is actually, at the beginning of this, something horrible is happening to her. Sorry, I'm snapping my case. Sorry about that, if you can hear it. Something is happening to her that is quite sad, and she's very upset by it when she runs into the mayor at the bake shop. And he used to be like a high school hockey player. Now he's become the mayor, and she's like really down, and he's trying to help her, and he finds a way to help her ultimately, and they get to be around each other for the majority of the book. She becomes the coordinator for the parade, which is pretty awesome. And they have probably the sweetest story of all of them. I think I like their story the most out of all of them, because I like not only their story, but there was like another character, a supporting character story, that was pretty interesting, and I liked it. I appreciated that. And of course, it's a very short story, so I won't give too much detail away, because if I give you anything, a lot of it, then there's no point in reading the story. But it was really good. I really enjoyed the fact that it didn't just focus on their romance. It focused on like the townspeople, and it focused on this secondary character a lot. I really liked that she was brought into the story and made kind of the focus point. And I like that. So this probably was that. The third short story is probably my favorite love short story of the three. Yeah, they're all very quick reads. I read it in 3 days. I listened to it in 3 days. I'm pretty sure if you wanted to listen or read it, you probably could read it in maybe a week or so. If you're a fast reader like I am, you'll probably read it in 3 days also. So yeah, that is it. That's pretty much it. Now, I gave you the summary of all the stories, so let me tell you what I didn't like about the book. I didn't like the way the book moved really fast, and I'm pretty sure it had to move fast because they were all short stories, but it bothered me a lot. Everybody was engaged almost at the end of each short story. I was like, hold on, this happened over the course of a month. I was really concerned, I was really concerned about how fast people were getting to the point where getting engaged. It bothered me that, they were just moving so fast. I just felt like they could have left some of the stories a bit open, like, oh, and they'll get to that point in their life, or they're moving towards it or something. But it was like, oh, and I'm gonna ask you to marry me. Oh, I'm gonna ask you to marry me after 3 weeks of knowing you. It was weird. Like Caleb and Bree literally don't know each other from a can of paint, and by the end of their story, they're engaged. Okay, yeah, that was weird. And then there was some, like, in some story, like the first story, Caleb and Bree's story, there was a side story that they were trying to make important to the overall story, and I was just like, I don't care. I don't really care, and it was horrible because when you find out what the short story is, you're like, you didn't care about that? I didn't. I felt like it was unnecessary to bring in those details. And then in the second story, there's no side story. Like there's just these two people, and the main Cassandra, the main female character, is annoying. And she makes my blood pressure rise. Like people who behave the way she does, and she said some pretty awful things when she didn't know that Chip was listening about him, about how she thought he was dumb because of the type of job he had. Oh, and then the third story, of course, the main thing I didn't like about the third story was some of the details were really not necessary. The side story that they added in to make it over an overall thing, I like that. But there was other details. I was just like, I don't need to know that. Like, she went on a search, and I'm not gonna tell you what type of search because again, but they told you like every like stop she went on. You're just like, I don't need the detail. I need more of the story about how these two, like I would have liked kind of the backstory about how much he liked her throughout high school and all that kind of stuff, and the same thing with her, but it was just, and then they had like they tried to put a rival in the story, and then like an ex in the story, and I was just like, I didn't like that part, but yeah. All right, so I know I gave you a lot of pros and cons in these stories. Or I hope I did. I hope I gave you a healthy amount for you to think about picking this book up, because I think you will be well pleasantly surprised, and I think you would enjoy it. I think you might agree with some of my critiques of the book, but overall, I think the short stories, the purpose of the short story was good, and I think that you would enjoy it. I think it's a very sweet read for October. If you're not looking for something scary, you're looking for something kind of like cozy feeling, no mystery, no murder, just a cozy feeling about Halloween. This compilation of short stories is up your alley. I think you would really like it. Please give it a read or a listen and tell me what you think. If you read it and you want to share your opinion with me, put it down in the below. I would love to discuss these books with you. I would love for someone to be like, Chick, you were wrong. Cassandra was the shit. Bree was amazing. I actually liked Bree. She was cool. And Laura was cool too. And I'm sorry I'm doing this way. I just wanted to talk about it because I literally just finished it, and I knew if I let it stay until tomorrow, I wasn't gonna do a review because we have my husband has his job has its fall festival thing tomorrow, and I have to get up probably early, get the kid ready, get it back together, and I'm probably gonna come home and just probably go to sleep. Because today I had help my friend with her wedding, and then another one of my friends and I kind of did some decor shopping, and we did some shopping for costumes because we're going to this really cool Clue mystery game at our local zoo here in Columbus. So I just wanted to get this done now. So if I seem kind of off or tired, that's what's going on. So I apologize. Let me get this hair though. I still love this haircut. I know I'm gonna change. I like it, but I'm gonna change it because for fall I want more color. So I think I'm gonna add in extensions and add color and curl it. I think I'm gonna do tight. Why am I talking about all this? It's because I'm tired. Let me stop. Let me get off here. I done told you. I done went on a rant. I ain't shit. I don't want to rant. I talked about my weekend, and now I'm talking about my hair. Anyway, like I was saying, please go give this book a listen or a read. And until next time, I'm sorry this is all over the place. Again, I ain't shit. And next time I talk to you, I will be better organized. And until then, you know what I'm going to say. Bye.